So we've got the freezer all cleaned out, ready to go, and we're going to go pick up some meat for that later. Right now we want to build another pasture in our pig pen. Actually this morning couldn't find the pigs. They had broke out. Somebody had forgot to turn the power on and they scrambled down the hill. Which is a beautiful sight. You holler pig, 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 and they all come running up the hill through the brush. So we're going to fence a chunk of that off, and we'll put some footage of that in there, work on that with Waylon, and put some new fencing up, just a bigger pasture. They're kind of done in the old one. They've done a good job tilling it up. If it was our own now, I'd probably be sprinkling some clover seeds or something through there, some grass seeds, and that'll then come up for the next round when you put more animals in there again. So yeah, we're gonna put them in there, and then we're gonna go pick up some meat later and get that in the freezer and get it ready for sale.
The rock's down there.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's off.
Somebody turned it off.
It's right here.
Nice. Yeah. Ready? Go. That's a pretty flower. That's nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Don't let it blow away.
Thank you.
Mama.
Hi. Thank you.
the pig pen done, and we started working on the duck pen as well. The duck pen is getting a little used, the old one, and I want to give it a break. So I'll show it to you here in a minute. You can kind of see. There's not any green grass or nothing in there anymore. Any green that you're seeing is trees that are above the ducks and geese's reach. So I wanted to give it a break. Now, I wanted to keep the pond accessible so that they can still do their swimming and bathing, which is kind of critical to the ducks. But at this point, we fenced it off. They do not have access to the pond, so that'll be all right for a while. But we would like them to have access to this again. It's just the pond could use a break too. So we did go ahead and thinned out a whole bunch more trees in here. It's way more opened up now through. And I think I'm going to catch a couple of pigs and excuse me, something in there. I'm going to catch a couple of pigs and put them in here and just let them till this all up again. The one reason for thinning it out is in order to turn this to luscious pasture and good place for future eating, is we need it thinned out so the sun can get in there and get the grass growing. There is seeds in there. There always will be some. Ideally, if this was ours, we would be broadcasting seed through here now in the efforts of building pasture. But we're not planning to be here long term. And the people who own it here, I'm not sure exactly what their plan is here yet. I mean, if they're going to get at it right away, then it would be beneficial. But otherwise, those seeds would kind of go to waste if nobody's going to use them anytime soon. So this is the new duck pen we got going. We also thinned this out. Did a lot more chopping inside of there than we did on the previous time. Again, just to let the sunshine get in. They're all laughing at me. I think I said something funny. So yeah, you can kind of tell here. It's hard to tell where I'm pointing, but it goes around. And they got a decent sized pen in here now. And up at the front here, it's a little bit fuller, but it is quite a bit more open once you get back in there a little bit. So yeah, don't really liking that. I think they're in there. They right away ran. Once we opened it up, ran in there, and they're busy chomping away on bugs and whatever else they find. It's just a beautiful sight. We do not have drinking water here for them, so we've got some pails going. And that's going to have to work for now. We did think, it seemed like there's a bit of a low spot in there that maybe we'd be able to dig down and see if we couldn't find some groundwater. Wes did try for a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not sure if that's going to work out or not. So we probably have to just keep watering them and maybe get a kiddie pool or something too. We've done that before. I'm not sure if we took our last kiddie pool with or not, but you can pick them up pretty cheap. So here on top of the duck house, we dumped a lot of the trees that we cut down, threw them on top of there, and like I said, that really opened it up there. So just walked over to the pig pen here and show you the old pig pen, if I can get it from here. I didn't walk all the way in, I guess, but that's the old pig pen over there, and we moved the fence over. So a small portion of where they are now is actually the old pasture, but most of it is in here, and it's really cleared up. It's hard to tell from here, but it is really, they really dug it up, spun it up with their noses. And there too, I mean, if we had some seeds in there, well, I think there's going to be wild native seeds in there that are probably going to grow too, and we're going to see that in the next week or so. Probably see some plants shooting up. The cow and the goats do have access to that pen now though too, so ideally we would just let it rest. Just leave it alone now and let some new plants come up again and move them on to the next one. So the trick for reclaiming land like this and turning it into pastures, actually overgrazing it, letting them tear it up and really damaging it, so to speak. And they're getting rid of all the undesirable plants. Everything that's there is pretty well what we don't want there. And by doing that, they're working up the dirt and allowing the plants that we do want, giving them a chance to grow. So this time we would let them overgraze it, overwork it, but the next time we would want to move them out a lot faster so it doesn't turn all brown like that, and just lets the grass crop down to, you know, maybe 4 or 5 inches tall, and then motor on to another pasture and keep them rotating through that way. I drove past some fields today that had cattle in there, and it was like golf course grass. There was nothing for them things to eat, and this is springtime. They're out there now, and it was just chewed down to nothing. That grass really is hindered by that. It's going to have a lot harder time growing back again. Bugs are out. it's going to have a lot harder time coming back and getting any kind of growth. When you cut your lawn, if you were to cut it to next to nothing, you're not going to have to cut your lawn again for a while. But if you just consistently cut it to a certain length there, it grows back very, very quickly. And same thing there, they should be rotationally grazing that pasture, putting the cows in, letting them graze to a certain point, and then moving them out to another pasture so that that grass has a chance to grow back, and they'd end up increasing their stocking density on that piece of land just by moving them out faster and not letting that grass and the root system get damaged so badly. So that's stuff we're hoping to do more whenever we find our own piece of land. I'm hoping that's going to be this week. This week or next, I really would like to narrow down some piece of land somewhere. But then we would like to get on this ourselves, get our pastures going, get things growing, and start turning the land into something good. If it already has pastures, great, then we won't be doing reclaiming. But if not, then a lot of the pieces we're looking at have some scrubby stuff on it. Then we will be trying to reclaim it and working with it. It just gets us excited. You know, you're turning raw bush into a pasture, which you can't see from there, but you're turning it into something. Oh, that way. From that to that, you know. And the next couple of weeks, if we're still here, even if we buy a property, we might be here for a while, but in the next couple of weeks, if we're still here, we're going to show you through this how we're slowly turning this into usable pastures. And the goats do a number on that. It's amazing how many branches and leaves they chew off of a tree. And then the cows are eating the taller stuff. And if you throw sheep in there, they go after different plants again. And all of it kind of put together makes for a good harmony in reclaiming the land. So pigs too. Pigs are the best at ripping up the root systems and everything else you don't want. So anyway, that is it for today. It's actually getting kind of cool out here now. I should put a sweater on. So we will talk to you all in the next one. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you later.
Do you have the person? Yeah. Do you have the person with the girl with the white hair? Yeah. What? I fell off. What fell off? Dang. That's okay. Do you have the person with the brown hair? Do you have the person with the brown hair? Yes. Do you have the person with the? Do you have the person with the yellow hair? Eli? Yeah. Do you have the person with the yellow hair? Yeah. Do you have the person with the? Do you have the person with the orange hair? Orange hair? Yeah. Do you have it?